In this video, I'll be giving you a tour of my office and YouTube studio space. Let's go.
You gotta just press record.
Hey everyone, I'm Omar, one of the content creators here at Think Media, and I'm super excited to be giving you this office tour. Just to let you know, at the end of this video, I'll be giving you 4 tips on how to design your office space to be more productive, as well as level up your production value. So be sure to stick around after I do my explanation of my office. One of my favorite interior design aesthetics is called mid-century modern, and so I definitely wanted to implement that in my office, from the decision of my leather chair to the tones of wood that I'm using with the furniture that I'm buying. And you can get a lot of great ideas on Pinterest as far as the direction and aesthetic you're trying to go for when designing a space, but that's just the one I like. Now I'm going to be breaking down this video into the 4 various areas in my office that I use most. And so let's start with my workstation. So this is where I spend a lot of my time editing video, scripting videos, as well as doing majority of my work like emails and calendars and stuff like that. This is kind of just where I spend most of my time. And essentially it is a closet that I have painted black, and so I can put the desk inside of and maximize the square footage of this room. And so I have a sit-stand desk that I got on Wayfair that I love. It's also glass on the top, and so you can write and erase with a dry erase marker, which is pretty cool. For all my work, I use a 2018 MacBook Pro with an i9 internal core, as well as a 1TB SSD, which actually isn't much, and I'll get into how I work around that in just a second. But the monitor I use is a 32-inch 4K IPS monitor from ViewSonic. I love this monitor because it's kind of edgeless. You don't really see too much black around the monitor itself, but everything is ran through this CalDigit hub. This device allows my MacBook Pro to sort of become a desktop computer with just the use of one USB-C cord. What's super cool about this hub is I can run everything through it, like my monitor, my power, has an SD card reader, as well as my 2TB SSD that I load all my footage on. And so that's kind of how I get by my 1TB internal SSD from my laptop, is I expand it by using a 2TB SSD from Samsung. And we'll be sure to post links down in the description below to everything I mentioned here in this video, so feel free to check that out. Now, as far as keeping it super clean and wireless, I love using my wireless, keyboard and Magic Pad from Apple. These are just 2 cool investments that just allow me to simply come in, hook up my laptop with one cord, and just get to work. Over to my left, I have a Pegboard from IKEA that I use to kind of just hang cords and SD cards, other SSDs, things that I need to grab quickly. I just put over there. So it's kind of hidden, so when you walk into the office you don't see it, but I do like having that readily accessible, and it does help that it's white, contrasting with the black walls. Now for cable management, I've just taken a power strip with multiple outlets, and I have command stripped it to the bottom of my desk, and I've just plugged everything into that. And then all the loose wires, I used a kit from IKEA that they actually sell to help with cable management. It has Velcros, zip ties, and things like that. And so I use that kit to just clean up the cables. And so with all that I have going on, by the look of things, it is definitely clean and minimal, just how I like it. Now the next part of my office is my second desk that I have on wheels. And I love having this desk because I use it for YouTube videos to be able to switch up the angle and still have a desk at hand, as well as just a good place with good window lighting. So if I'm doing Zoom calls and I don't need any lighting to light my face, I just open up my blinds and let the natural light come in. But this desk is super clutch, as well as just using this as a place to shoot thumbnails or product photography. It's just super clutch being able to move it up against the light, or if you need to get behind it, we can just easily move it. If I had to choose one desk, I would actually have this, especially shooting YouTube videos, so I could maneuver my stuff around. And this desk I found on Wayfair, but just a desk with wheels is just a good look. And I've been testing this USB mic from Amazon that I think is pretty cool. Literally for around $70, it comes with everything you see and everything you need to get going as far as shooting a podcast or leveling up your audio for your Zoom calls and stuff like that. But again, we'll put links to everything in the description below. Now the third area of my office is the seating area, and I have this futon couch that I found on OfferUp that I love. It definitely has that mid-century look. And then I have 3 framed words that I just designed in Photoshop and got printed at FedEx, but it's the words character, humility, and consistency. These just are cool contrasting to the white walls that I have. And then I have a fiddle leaf fig plant. Again, all these things kind of coming together for that mid-century modern look I like going for. And then underneath my futon, I do use as extra storage. I have this bin from IKEA that I just pull out and grab anything I need. And then that leads me to the fourth place of my office, which is my gear center. I really love this cabinet that I found at IKEA. It houses my cameras, my lenses, and my batteries. Much of my other gear, if it's not in this room, it's just put elsewhere. And I just wanted to keep it super clean. But this is a gear closet that I like using as a background. And I also have some lights that I got from IKEA to bring some bokeh or bokeh into my shot. And so that's kind of the way I house my camera and my lenses and stuff like that. All right, so there you have it. That is the tour of my simple, minimal YouTube office studio space. And I want to share 4 tips on why I did things the way I did. This is a very intentional design that I had, but before I do, I wanted to pass the question off to you is, do you use your office to create YouTube videos? Let me know in the comment section below, and wanted to point your attention to a playlist we have. And that playlist is where, you know, people on the Think Media team share their office space and do their office tour. So make sure you check that out. You can probably get some good ideas. But the first tip is to design your office with your backgrounds in mind. And that just takes a lot of things just to think about, you know, like, could you use multiple walls to create videos? You know, I use this office and I probably have 4 to 5 different angles that I can use in this same box, I guess you could say. And it's because I've designed with the corners in mind. You know, I've made flat shots, make sure that those are clean and cool. But you've probably seen the various ways I've used this room, and we'll show, you know, B-roll of that, of other videos I've done where, you know, I've moved around, but yet, you know, it's still the same room. Another thing is just like the little details. And so stuff like taking out the glass in your framed images or on your, you know, art on your wall. Is it reflective? Like, I don't want the lights that we have going on, you know, shooting reflections on the stuff I have on the wall. And so that's just something to keep in mind. The second tip is to treat your room for audio. You know, I have a tiled room, the ceilings are kind of high, but a few things you can do to treat your room for audio is, number one, furniture. You know, actually furnishing an office space with like clothy type furniture. So like this couch I got right here. Also rugs. You know, I got this rug from IKEA. It's $25 rug from IKEA. These types of things do help. But I also have an audio blanket that I use, and you know, this is an actual audio treatment blanket that you can get from Amazon, and we'll put links to everything that we can into the description below. Obviously, you can't buy my couch because I bought it on OfferUp, but I've actually put hooks all around my office to be able to move this blanket that hangs. It's a 10-pound blanket and it's pretty thick, but whatever direction I am talking to in my office, I will hang the blanket behind the, you know, or I guess you could say in front of me. So my audio isn't just bouncing off the walls, but it's actually gonna dampen that echo. And so just something to keep in mind is to make sure that your room, and we always say that 50% of video is audio. And so if you can help it by helping treat your office space, if it's carpeted, you're most likely good. But if it's high ceilings, you might want to look into something like this. But again, we'll put links to everything in the description below. Now, the next tip is to simply cut the clutter. I found more than ever that clutter cripples your creativity. And I don't like things just like all over the place or out on my desk all the time. You know, I like things put away. And being a content creator, as well as doing, you know, freelance work and stuff like that, that this gear closet that you see in here right there is literally just housing probably a quarter of all the gear I own. And I've actually stored away gear in other places like the garage and closets. But clutter for sure is something you want to just tackle, you know, and that can come into play in regards to like cable management. Are your cables just everywhere? You know, I like to clean up my cables, zip tie them, and keep them away, as well as using things like, you know, bins and stuff, and putting stuff in bins. You know, I got this bin underneath my couch. But cutting the clutter will help you, think better, create better. Even when I'm just editing, I don't want to have like my lights and everything on me. And so by all that to say, cut the clutter. And the last tip I have for you is to aim for functionality. More than ever, do I want my room to be able to be maneuvered? I want to be able to move things around. And so, that's why I got a desk with wheels on it, because I can move it around the room. I got a couch that's not really heavy and can be easily picked up and moved. But this room is very modular, but also I got the sit-stand desk. So if I want to stand up and edit video, I can do that. But just always think about ways you can use your space to be more functional. I have underneath my shelf, that's where I charge all my batteries. It's somewhere simple to go to. And then I put my batteries on the shelf that are fully charged on top of that. But just something to keep in mind. I hope those 4 tips can serve you and that you've gotten value out of this video. And again, if you have not already hit that like button, hit me on that like button, son. Thank you so much. And again, if you want to check out the other office tours from everybody here at Think Media, be sure to check out that playlist, and you can click or tap the screen by checking that out, or check out another video that we have here on Think Media. And more than anything, thank you so much, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Peace.